Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Sorry it's been so long since I've posted anything. Obviously we've had COVID-19 and then getting back to work, and it's just taken up a lot of my time. But today what I would like to talk about is Grizzly and Gruesome items brought back from the Pacific Theatre by US vets. Now, we all know that the Pacific was a very, very brutal war on both sides. After Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, the Americans got brought into the war, thankfully, and obviously what they needed to do was clear the Japanese out of the islands where they were, and the Marines went in and started to clear those islands. And what they found out was that the Japanese were some of the most brutal and savage soldiers and navymen that they'd ever come against. So, you know, a real brutal enemy. So today what I am going to do is I'm going to show you 3 items that were brought back by US vets. Now, I'm going to start off with the very typical sort of item that was brought back, which is a Type 90 Japanese helmet. Now, these helmets were picked up by a lot of US vets and brought home as war trophies. And some of the time you can find them with bullet holes like this one. Now, this one has taken a high shot through the top here and has, unfortunately for the wearer, gone all the way through, as you can see there, and has completely blood stained the liner. Now, with the leather liners, what you will find is if there is blood that's present or been present, that what it does is it actually starts to rot the leather out. As you can see here, it turns into sort of like a darkish grey colour, and it will slowly start to eat that leather away. Now, as you can see, the chin straps are still tied. So what I'm guessing is that this is exactly how it was tied off and worn when the US soldier captured it. You've got your typical Japanese star to the front there. Now, these should be curved and not straight, so they should adhere to the curvature of the helmet as such. But you can see the colour. It's called Dead Grass and is a brownish colour, and it was the standard Japanese colour for all, if not most, of their helmets. So that's quite a cool helmet, but as I said, these are typically seen. Now I'm going to show you something that's very non-typical. Here we have a bone knife. Yeah, this is where Gruesome really does come into it. So this knife was brought back by Arthur Treadway, and he was a tanker on the islands for the Marine Corps. And on the front, you've got written Guam with a palm tree. Now, I don't know how well you can see that, but he's machine worked and etched into the front of this piece of metal. Now, what's fascinating is that when you get to the back of this, you've actually got December, Guam, 1944 written, and it's got, this sheath was made out of a nip tank. Now, obviously, nip being the derogatory term for a Japanese person. It's not terminology that I would use, but that is what's written on the back here. Now, what's fascinating is that throughout the whole of the back here, he's etched in different patterns. He's obviously written where he's written. And at the top, you've got an A there for Arthur Treadway. And as we look down the bottom, it's very difficult to see, but you've got Art, A-R-T written. Now, the bone knife. So this is obviously a United States Marine Corps K-bar, but what they've done is he's removed the leather spacers here and replaced it with a femur bone. Yeah, I said that correctly. That's a femur bone. That's a human leg bone. On the top here, he's done more design work, and over on the pommel, he's shot worked another piece of that Japanese tank. An incredible piece of work, really, because he would have had to work with the bone and the metal. And being with the tanks, obviously, he would be very good at metal shop and working with metal, etc. He's even put some little grooves into the bone there, which I find quite fascinating. But that's about as brutal as it gets. I mean, you've made a knife out of someone's femur bone. All in all, very, very cool. Just a gruesome, cool piece of history. Okay, next up, another thing that was brought home by US vets, and that's Japanese teeth on a necklace. Now, I got this from a friend of mine, and it was basically in a box of Japanese insignia and other little bits and pieces. But what it is it looks like a gold sweetheart sort of chain that's been sent out to him. And what he's done is he's attached someone's teeth on there. Yeah, I've seen this quite a few times now. I've seen a box of teeth with a pair of pliers that was brought home. And I've also seen an ear. Yeah, that's correct. A human ear on a Japanese dog tag that was worn around the Marine's neck and was brought home. Now, obviously, the amount of pressure and sustained combat that these guys were in, and obviously seeing their mates blown up, tortured, horrific things happening to them. I guess that basically when the gloves were off, they were off, and, you know, these things happened. And it's not normally talked about throughout the collecting community much because obviously a lot of people would frown upon it, etc. But I think what we need to understand is that it was a part of history, and obviously we need to learn about it and talk about it, hence my my posting today here on the channel. Well, as you can see behind me, I've got quite a lot of Marine Corps and Japanese items that I'd love to talk to you all about. So what I will be doing in the coming weeks is I'll be going through some of my M1 helmets and some of my uniforms and groupings to give you guys a little sneak peek into what I've been doing over the last 18 years. But thanks for coming on the channel and taking a look. Please leave a like, and I will keep on making more and more content.